Hey guys, what's happening? Just want to switch gears for a second and come out of empty hand work and touch on some weapons work within Chinese martial arts. And the first weapon I want to touch on is the saber. So, we refer to this as broadsword. That was the term that we used back in the day. That's how we were taught the name of the weapon. That's actually the incorrect term or name of the weapon. So the name of the weapon is Dan Do. So Dan Do. Dan is single, and Do means knife. So this is not a sword by Chinese standards. And what I mean by that is you only really have one cutting surface here. So the cutting surface is from here to the tip, underneath, all the way down to about here, and down about here, then it gets dull at this point for blocking. The back end also can be sharp from here to about here, and then it starts to dull. It gets right about here, and again, this area is mainly for blocking. And you see it's a lot thicker at this portion here and here, all the way down to the handle, and again on the inside portion of the blade from the handle all the way up to here, and then you start getting into the cutting area of the blade. So Dan Do means single knife. So broadsword is not really the correct term. It's a term that we still use and is still acknowledged. But anything that's double-edged on both sides, so like Gim is straight sword, or Dan Gim, straight sword, or single sword, is sharp on both sides, and so that is considered a sword. This is a knife. So things like Dan Do, Sun Do, Sun is double, Yi is two. So Yat Yi, Sun means double, Yi is two. It's a little bit different. So Dan Do, Sun Do, Wu Dip Do, or some people say Jok Do, or bamboo, butterfly knives. Wu Dip is for butterfly. Some people say Jok Do, Quan Do, Ga Do, which is Nanmin big knife. So Quan Do is Quan's knife. So the weapon is named after the general of the Three Kingdoms period. So Quan Do, the other way of saying it is Dai Do. Dai is big, and again, Do is knife. Because again, it's still taking on the characteristics of a single-sided weapon, a single-sided cutting-edge weapon. All right, but right now we're sticking with the broadsword or Dan Do or single saber. All right, so basic maneuvers with the technique are slashing and cutting maneuvers. So basically, you're cutting across horizontally this way, downward diagonally, downward vertically, up on vertical, up diagonal. Diagonal is where you start to flower. In the old days, they would tell you when you flower, you should be able to deflect arrows. I really don't want to try that. So that said, basic maneuvers. The old saying is, for single saber, beware the free hand. For double saber, beware the footwork. All right, so single saber. So your free hand is a lot of times when you're coming back to this position. This is the standard on guard position. Willow leaf palm out, weapon back, ready to go. You want to be wary of the free hand in that a lot of times when you block, you'll lead with your weapon. You'll lead with your weapon here, and then you would grab, let's say like a spear. So let's say someone's thrusting at me with a spear and I'm in an on guard position. Guessing I'll be here. I'm going to lead in with my weapon here. I'm going to block here. The thrust is coming horizontally this way. Block here, and I'm going to grab the actual weapon, not the blade of the weapon. Grab the shaft, okay? Grab the actual shaft of the spear. So I'm going to block, grab, and then control, and then attack or thrust or slash or whatever. If I'm fighting someone with another saber, same thing. If they're cutting down or thrusting, I'm going to block here, then grab the arm, and then cut. So a lot of times when you see a maneuver like this, what you're doing basically is you're blocking, grabbing the person's arm if it's a single saber, or spear, or staff, and basically cutting across, and basically cutting their head off. All right? So that's the basic application. When you see an uppercut, okay, cutting this way, underneath. So basically what's happening is you would block here, so the weapon comes in. It could be coming down, it could be coming straight. It's actually better when it comes straight and you want to angle off, so you never want to stay lined up with someone else's weapon. So you're going to angle off, so I'm going to go from an on guard position. You angle off here and then step through and cut underneath. So basically what's happening is you 1, 2. So your cut should be vertical in that you block here and then come through and cut, starting from the groin and go all the way up and through. So if you're in this position, you block and then cut. Also, using the hilt, the butt end of the handle, the very end, for striking. So again, using the basic maneuver of coming through, blocking, hitting here, grabbing and hitting and striking the head, body, neck, wherever you see an opening with the weapon. Also, when you come back to the on guard position here. So this is similar to like throwing an elbow. Someone comes behind you, throw an elbow. Same thing here. You come back, you boom, you hit the person from behind. So one way to apply that as if you were going forward or attack or defending someone's attack. So again, I'm going to use a spear as a point of reference because normally a lot of times you'll see spear pretty much paired up with everything. Is spear versus saber, spear versus double saber, spear versus kwando. You know, I've seen 3 spears versus kwando, spear, you know, 2 spear versus kwando, whatever. So, but hitting with this and using this technique, I'm going to use an upward block and then step through and jab into my opponent. So, right in here. If I want to step and use my taoma, retreating stance, or naoma, going forward, so I would go from this position again, block up, step through, and hit. And drive into the opponent. Also cutting down. So, slicing down. So, I block a strike that's above here, and again, I'm bracing it against my arm because I'm dealing with a technique that's falling. Now, in the form, especially, I'm going to use the form we have in the Jow Ga, the Fu Mei Dang Do, or tiger tail single knife. We block here. So if you see the blade is resting on my forearm, basically, I'm using my left hand to support my right wrist to absorb that force. Now, if the strike is coming vertically down, and I do this, because in the form it's very straight, I would actually miss. I would actually take the strike, and my arm would be cut either here or inside here. So when you actually block, you've got to angle off a little bit. You've got to angle so that when the strike comes in, it deflects and goes down at an angle. So anyway, from that position, the strike comes in, I lean back and block, again, angling my weapon. And from this position, I'm going to grab and then step forward and come down, or grab, pull, and step back and come down. So either way is effective. All right? Okay, guys, that's it. Have a good day. Everybody stay safe. Till next time.